All right, welcome. Today, we're diving into an idea that, honestly, it's going to flip how you think about strength and weakness. Pretty much everything. It's a concept from Nassim Nicholas Taleb that's way bigger than just being strong. And it all kicks off with one super simple question. So let me ask you this. You're mailing a package, right? It's full of, say, delicate glass. You'd scribble fragile all over it, handle with care, we all know that. But what if you had a package that was the exact opposite? I mean, what's the real, true antonym for fragile? Think about it for a sec. Okay, what did you come up with? If you're like most people, your brain probably jumped towards like robust, resilient, or just strong. And hey, that makes total sense. Those are things that can take a hit and not break. But here's the twist. That's not the right answer. Not really. Because being robust or resilient just means you endure things. You don't actually change. And this is where Taleb introduces his game-changing idea, the triad. So you have the fragile on one end. That's your porcelain cup. It hates randomness, it hates stress, it breaks. In the middle, you've got the robust. Think of a block of solid steel. It resists stress, it endures, but it stays the same. But the true opposite. That's the package where you'd literally write, "Please mishandle" on the box. Seriously. This is the antifragile. It's the thing that doesn't just survive volatility, it feeds on it. It gets stronger when things get chaotic.
All right, so that's the core concept we're digging into. It's not just about surviving the storm, it's about being the kind of thing that uses the storm's energy to get bigger and better.
You see this everywhere in nature, right? Think about your own body. Your muscles don't get stronger from just sitting there. No, they need the stress, the damage from a workout to rebuild and grow. Same with your immune system. It needs to get hit with a few germs to figure out how to fight them off and become more powerful. That, right there, is anti-fragility. It's a core property of anything complex that's managed to stick around for a while, from biology all the way to economy. Okay, so if anti-fragility is so great, what's the problem? Well, here it is. Our whole modern world is kind of obsessed with the exact opposite. We want control. We want stability. We try to iron out every single wrinkle, eliminate every bit of randomness, all for the sake of comfort. But in doing that, we're actually creating a massive, hidden vulnerability. We're making everything fragile. Taleb illustrates this with something he calls the turkey problem, and it's just brilliant. Imagine you're a turkey. Day 1, the farmer shows up with food. Nice guy. Day 300, same thing. Farmer brings food. Man, life is good. By day 900, you are absolutely convinced the farmer is your best friend. Every single day of stability just reinforces your belief that you are safe. But then, Thanksgiving rolls around, and you get a very, very rude surprise. The turkey mistakes a lack of harm for evidence of safety, and that steady, predictable life was actually the biggest risk of all. And this leads to another key concept, iatrogenics. It's a fancy word, but the idea is simple. It means harm caused by the healer. It's when our efforts to help actually make things worse. Think about it. When we try to fix a complex system, like the economy or even our health, by suppressing all the little ups and downs, we're basically preventing it from learning and adapting. We stop the small forest fires, which sounds good, until all that dry wood builds up and creates one giant, uncontrollable inferno. We make it fragile. Taleb puts it perfectly with this quote. He says that the tragedy of our modern world is that, just like an overprotective parent, the people who are trying to help us are often the ones hurting us the most. By shielding us from every little thing, they're making us unable to handle the big things. So that's the problem. We're building a fragile world. The big question is, what do we do about it? How do we actually build anti-fragility into our lives and our systems? Well, Taleb gives us a practical toolkit, and we're going to look at two of the most powerful tools, the barbell strategy and something called via negativa, or the way of subtraction. Okay, first up, the barbell strategy. This is so counterintuitive but so smart. Instead of putting all your resources in the medium risk middle, which, let's be honest, is where we usually get things wrong, you split things to the absolute extremes. You take the vast majority of your stuff, say 90%, and put it in something ridiculously safe, like cash under the mattress safe, stuff that can't blow up. Then you take that little bit left over, that 10%, and you go wild. You make a bunch of small, super high-risk, high-reward bets. You're basically hunting for those positive black swans. And what this does is pretty amazing. You've essentially created a situation where your downside is capped. The absolute most you can lose is that 10%, which you've already decided you can live with. But your upside, it's uncapped. It's unlimited. One of those small bets could pay off 1,000-fold. You've protected yourself from ruin while opening yourself up to massive, life-changing gains from randomness. All right, the second tool is maybe even simpler, but just as powerful. It's via negativa, Latin for the way of subtraction. The whole idea rests on a simple truth. We are much, much better at knowing what is wrong than knowing what is right. So the most reliable path to getting better, whether it's your health, your wealth, or your knowledge, isn't by adding more stuff. It's by removing the things that are hurting you. Think about it. In health, instead of adding yet another supplement with who knows what side effects, you get a much bigger, more certain benefit by just removing junk food from your diet. In finance, instead of chasing a complex new investment, you become way more robust by just eliminating your debt. In business, instead of adding more rules and procedures, you make the company stronger by simplifying things. Less is so often more. And this leads us to the final piece of the puzzle. And for Taleb, this might be the most important part of all. Anti-fragility isn't just a clever strategy for getting ahead. It's a fundamental rule of ethics. It's about fairness. I mean, check this out. This is from the Code of Hammurabi, written almost 4,000 years ago. It says if a builder builds a house and that house collapses, killing the owner, the builder shall be put to death. Brutal, yes, but the principle is crystal clear. You have to have skin in the game. The person who makes the decision and reaps the rewards has to be the same person who pays the price if it all goes wrong. But what do we see today? All too often, we see the complete opposite. Taleb calls it the Robert Rubin free option, after the former Treasury Secretary. It's the setup where powerful people, think bankers, policymakers, TV pundits, get to take enormous risks. If things go well, they get huge bonuses, they get famous, they get all the upside. But if their decisions lead to a catastrophe, well, society, that's you and me, the taxpayers, gets stuck with the bill. They get the upside, we get the downside. They have no skin in the game. So this is the central ethical rule of anti-fragility. You should not be able to get stronger at the expense of making someone else weaker. It's that simple. A firefighter who runs into a burning building is a hero because they take on risk for the sake of others. The banker who creates a risky financial product that blows up the economy is the exact opposite of a hero. They transfer their risk onto everyone else. In a complex, unpredictable world, skin in the game is the only real antidote to this kind of fragility. So I want to leave you with this. Once you start looking at the world through this anti-fragile lens, you can't unsee it. You start noticing the hidden fragilities everywhere. You see the turkey problems, you see the people with no skin in the game. So the question becomes, who in your world gets all the upside while leaving you and others to deal with the downside? And more importantly, what are you going to do about it?